Welcome back to FITTFACTION podcast. I'm Kyle Gillian, and joining me today is Steve DeShriver in the absence of Trev Boyardee.
Trevor, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for making me get in front of a camera.
I kind of like
I want to say something else.
I know, but we're going to keep it PC. But anyways, so I'm going to be 42 here on Tuesday. So a couple
Congratulations.
days. Thank you so much. I made it this far in my life.
Level 42.
I didn't plan for the 40s because I never thought I'd fully make it, but here I am. And so what do I do now? I'm getting that place where I'm relating a lot more to, I don't like using the word older population because I'm going to talk about that later, but I've definitely put some time and effort and grind on my body and my joints, and that's just part of it. So what I wanted to cover today real quickly, or briefly, I guess, is just supplementation to aid and assist in some of the issues being with a more leveled up individual, such as myself, level 42 here in a little bit. I quit aging at 40. It's just prestige levels. Prestige 40, prestige 41, prestige 42. So I'm working my way up to greatness. But what I have found is that glucosamine is probably one of the most recognizable forms of joint support, at least when you say it out loud to most people, I think. It's just kind of, I actually use it more than a multivitamin at this point in my life. It works, but it's not magic. And that's kind of what I want to get across. Like I definitely need it. I would never go without a form of joint support. Okay. I've tried all kinds of different ones. Some work a little bit better than the other ones, but the spectrum of what they do, they all help a little bit. And I'm trying to be real careful to say that they fix issues. I would say they more or less take the edge off of things. So typically for me, and this is my personal case, it takes a long time to have the benefits of the glucosamine or the joint support help you. And you have to kind of build up certain levels in your body before you start to feel the benefits. And I find that at that rate, you don't really notice what it's doing for you. And I don't notice what it's doing for me until I stop taking it. And then I realize, holy cow, a lot of me hurts way more than I thought it did. But it was such a slow rate, I didn't recognize the benefits that it was using. So as a general rule, I'll always be taking some form of joint support. Now, to kind of help people, customers, clients, and things like that, I try a wide variety and a full spectrum of different types of joint support, and I try to find what works best for me. And I kind of just wanted to bring up some of the different things that do help so people have a general idea of what's what and what can help. So for starters, glucosamine in general is great. It's kind of helps repair certain levels of cartilage and things like that. And most of the time when we're talking about joint issues, it's typically an osteoarthritis type problem. It's just something you've grinded the gears for so long, and finally the grinding's done some damage that you can feel. When you're young and stuff, you still have a fairly good buffer and you don't tend to notice as much of that. But after a while, all that wear and tear over time will start to catch up with you. It's easiest just to kind of equate it to a brand new car. And even if you drove it like an idiot and you never got the oil change, it's still going to drive just fine for a while. But over time, the lack of care you took on the gears and things like that is going to start to show as you put more and more mileage on it. And that's kind of basically how our joints work. And I've put a lot of mileage on my joints, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's just part of it. And so the next step in my life is to find ways to work with the joint pain and stuff that's associated with driving hard. And I drove stupid for a while. I learned later in my life things that I probably should have done differently, but I can share that with the younger generation. But glucosamine, for one, it's a great supplement. It works. I've taken it in liquid forms, powder forms, tablet forms, and I would say they're pretty much close to the same as far as the effects. You do have to have, I would say, at least a month's worth in your system before you start to notice any benefits from it. So it's not like something you take and then the next day you feel great. You got to take it for a month straight. And if you fall off the wagon, you kind of got to go through that month again before it starts to kick in. So once you're on it, stay on it. And if you're not on it, I would get on it now. Past that though, there's other things that they mix with it now. So you have your MSM and stuff, which is super common.
What's MSM?
I knew you were going to make me say that, dude.
I'm just keeping you honest.
I know. Methyl.
I'm here for you, the people.
Sulfonyl?
Okay, so MSM. I gotcha.
Methane.
You didn't make it up.
No, it's on there.
Good. Okay.
It's in a book. Okay.
In a book.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, keep going.
Well, no. So, I mean, you'll usually see those two. That's super, super common nowadays to see glucosamine, chondroitin, and MSM all put in the same thing. So there's been some research that says MSM helps. There's been studies that show turmeric's good for dropping inflammation levels. And a lot of the pain you feel is just associated with inflammation. So, yes, it's the gears grinding, but the grinding causes inflammation, and that inflammation is what causes the pain. So basically, methods to reduce inflammation is your number one goal if you're trying to avoid the pain that comes with it. Omega fatty acids, so your omega-3 helps as well. And there's a number of other type of herbs and things out there that have benefits to them. But I would look for one that has just a whole blend of all of them. I mean, they all, and if you read them, say may help with and may help with and may help with. I can tell you it absolutely does help. Not as much as I would love it to help, but it definitely helps, and I would never go without it. So if you're not on a joint support, I would get on one. If you know you're hard on your body, get ahead of the curve. Like, start changing the oil now. Definitely, like I was going to say, basic things too, like your water intake. I mean, you'd be amazed how much of an impact water has on your joints. I can tell you when I'm dehydrated by how my joints feel.
Really? How much water I've heard like a gallon, 2 gallons. How much water should I be drinking?
I tell everybody a gallon.
A gallon?
Yeah. I mean, a gallon plus. I mean, technically you need to be replacing every ounce of water you lose during a workout, which gets a little tedious as far as like figuring it all out. So shoot for a gallon. If you're a 200 plus individual, go for a gallon and a half.
Gotcha.
I find that most people can barely hit half a gallon. So if I give them a goal of a gallon, just drink more water until you're there. You can drink water until you die, but that's a different conversation. Yeah.
Hypotonic, I think that's called.
Yeah. What was that?
Is it hypo?
Didn't some radio station have like a contest to who could drink the most water and somebody died? Like,
I have no idea.
On the radio. I don't know. Maybe
they died on the radio?
It was literally on the radio.
So drink a bunch of water. Also take something for joints.
Yep. And they've gotten, I don't want to say creative. It's just kind of more the form you would prefer to take it in.
Okay.
Like Jocko's got his joint support, which is a pill tablet form. So you take it and go.
Okay.
There is a liquid form of it, which has a little flavor to it. So it could be a little more enjoyable if that's what you're looking for. Needs to be refrigerated. It's a little bit heavier to carry, so it wouldn't be ideal for travel, I would say. But as far as like sitting at your house and something that you're going to take every day, liquid's great. There's also powdered versions. This one's actually a kind of a mocha type flavor. I sort of mix this with hot water, and it's kind of like a gritty hot chocolate, I guess would be the way I would explain it. And they're also starting to mix a lot of CBD with a lot of these now, which for some people, they still steer clear of it and they're worried about it. And CBD is different than THC. There's also some debate onto, do you need THC to activate the CBD and the levels of it? And, they're still going to be deciding that for a long time. But again, I'm at 42. I mean, I definitely don't want the THC in my system, but if there's something that isn't going to have that, if I would fail a drug test type thing in it, I'm up for trying anything. And so, I've been experimenting with the CBD stuff, and it's good, solid stuff. If it's the CBD that's specifically doing it, honestly, I couldn't tell you right now.
Gotcha.
And again, I'm only speaking from personal experience and just some research stuff that I've read on the topic and things like that. Definitely everybody should be taking your omegas though.
Good for brain health too.
It's good for so many things. It all, helps lubricate the joints, helps bring down inflammation, and it's got natural non-stimulant body fat potential with it and appetite suppressant things. So it's a win-win-win across the board. Helps with the joints on top of your glucosamine, MSM, chondroitin, turmeric. And just drink your water, stay hydrated.
Gotcha.
You're
like
the
the
scope.
third person this week is mentioned turmeric. I
It's
don't
a-
know if
it's
I've
a weird
ever
one.
heard that. My mom told me about it. 'cause-
It's an old school one, and I heard it and I was like, okay, well, let me try this turmeric. And I actually bought a bag of turmeric powder. Have you had turmeric powder?
No, I haven't. But
People talk
for my
about how
back,
they cook
said-
with it and stuff.
Okay.
It is nasty. Maybe I got like the bad stuff. I don't know, but there's nothing appeal. I can't imagine putting it in any food, but apparently people swear by cooking with it and stuff. I put it in my murder death caca tea since it all tastes like caca anyways. I just throw it in there just to get it all over with. Mm-hmm. It was an experiment. It may or may not have worked, but I did it. So, but now they do put it in that might be something that might be better in a tablet form. So if you don't want to taste it, just swallow the pill.
Gotcha.
If you want to try to enjoy it as a hot beverage, pour it in some hot water. If you just want it out of the fridge as a refreshing little shot, do the liquid.
Gotcha. And they'll kind of work the same.
As far as I can tell.
Okay.
But
You haven't noticed any differences?
I mean, they all help
Okay.
for sure. But I haven't noticed that one is significantly better than the other. But again, if there's more angles that I could approach the topic, I would absolutely do everything I could, because lack of movement's the worst thing I could do, and pain is probably my biggest limiting factor at my point in my career, my level in my life.
Your playing days are over, my friend.
They are not over. I'm just prestiging up. I need more. So
Good for the jiu-jitsu people?
yeah,
All your jit pit people?
that's my take it easy on my body activity now.
Jiu-jitsu is?
Yeah. Surprisingly, I did that because everything else started hurting too much. But I'll find new creative ways to hurt myself.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
Peace out.